Okay, so let's talk about the former president of the United States, Joe Biden. So look, I hate to be all holier than thou and going on a kick, and I'm not going after anybody. I'm just saying this is my job as a journalist and someone who is, I believe, tasked with telling the truth and also conveying what's out in the world. And that is, can we focus? Oh, someone says, I want to hear about Cory Booker. Ooh, Cory Booker voted yes on Kushner. We'll talk about that. But Joe Biden is a sick man. He's old, no surprise. And considering what's happening to him right now and to his family, we wanted to play this. This is from CBS. CBS re-released this of Joe Biden speaking to, I think was it his 10-year-old self? Am I correct with that? Or speaking to, what would he do? I think as to his 10-year-old self. And this is Joe Biden from a few years ago. Watch.
Joe Biden was just 29. He became one of the youngest people ever elected to the U.S. Senate, and he has remained a member of the federal government in the 44 years that followed. Now at age 73, Biden, the 47th Vice President of the United States, looks back on a remarkable career and life in our Emmy-nominated series, Note to Self.
Dear Joe, you're only 12. Your stutter is debilitating. It embarrasses you, and the bullies are vicious. But listen to Mom when she says, bravery resides in every heart, and yours is fierce and clear. Listen to Dad when he says, Joey, when you get knocked down, get up. Get up. Because if you listen, you'll summon the bravery to overcome the stutter, and you'll learn to stand up to bullies. You'll learn from Dad, who moved the family to look for work, that a job is about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect.
Hi, how are you?
Hi,
Joe
how are
Biden's
you?
my name.
Okay, pause, please.
And that's why you'll...
So it's his 12-year-old self. So pardon me for that. But and back it up just a little bit. This is because people have a short memory, right? You forget the good that people do. And somehow people become obsessed, and they somehow, the opposition or the enemies, people allow the voice of the opposition or the voice of the enemies to define people. And I don't think that should happen to Joe Biden. Is Joe Biden a perfect man? No. Is there criticism to go around? Yes. But for all of us, none of us is perfect. Not one of us is perfect. But as you think about, Joe Biden has spent the bulk of his life. You saw that one of the youngest people elected to the Senate or public office in general, and how he has fought for that. And so I think he deserves dignity and not disgusting, cringe criticism in what is possibly, I'm just going to be honest, his final days or years. Let's put it that way. I mean, I think this is a Joe Biden that we should remember. So this is him. He's writing a note to his 12-year-old self, starting off with the 12-year-old self, talking about his stutter and how he had to overcome that and what he had to do. So here it is.
Hi, how are you?
Hi,
Joe
how are
Biden's
you?
my name.
And that's why you'll follow your heart and serve your community, your state, and your country. And intolerance for the abuse of power will drive you to stand up for civil rights.
Damn it, we have favorites in South Africa. The favorites in South Africa are the people who are being repressed.
And because you listened, you'll live a life fully consistent with what you were taught by Mom and Dad and your faith. That you should say what you mean and mean what you say. Leading by the power of example will define you. And one day, you'll find yourself forging a relationship with the Jesuit Pope who embodies that universal truth. But you'll also learn early and later in your life that reality has a way of intruding.
His wife and daughter were killed in an automobile accident, and his 2 young sons severely injured.
For the first time in my life, I understood how someone could consciously decide to commit suicide.
He was sworn in the hospital at my bedside. As a single parent, he decided to be there, to put us to bed, to be there when we woke up from a bad dream.
One day you'll be on top of the world.
I'm Beau Biden, and Joe Biden is my dad.
Only to be brought down in a flash with a profound loss and a grief that leaves a black hole in your heart, questions of faith in your soul, and anger beyond rage.
That's Joe Biden's son. Considering what has transpired in my life over the past couple of weeks, I don't think people understand what it's like to lose, especially for a parent to lose a child. It's not supposed to happen that way. And having conversations with my mother over the past couple of weeks, and even over the past couple of years, because this is the second child that my mother has lost. And that is a pain that no one can understand. I said this at my sister's funeral when I gave the eulogy, that was a club that nobody wanted to join. It's a rare club, the people who outlive their children. And it is a pain that unless you've heard a parent cry, that wail that comes it's like guttural that comes from deep within, then you don't understand. And so I think this is the wrong time and the wrong moment to be doing what people are doing as it relates to the former president.
Beau Biden passed away from brain cancer. His illness had not been widely publicized.
Parents never expect to have a child predecease them. Never. That's when you'll have to dig deep and live what Mom taught you. That out of everything terrible that happens, something good will come if you look hard enough. You'll hold on with faith and pure grit. You'll be blessed with a love that will anchor you as deeply as your faith. I love you. You're the love of my life and the life of my love. Your bond with your children and your grandchildren will be your redemption. Because of a family grounded in unconditional love and loyalty and the compassion of friends and strangers, you'll get up, you'll keep going, and you'll give back. You realize that countless people have suffered equally or more.
Thank you!
With much less support and much less reason to want to get back up. But they do. They get up. They keep going. And so must you. You'll learn what it means to be an American. There is no quit in America. Being there for your family and your friends, serving your country, building real relationships, even with people with whom you vehemently disagree.
I appreciate the Vice President's willingness to get this done for the country.
That's America, made up of ordinary people like you, capable of doing extraordinary things. And one day, when you graduate from law school, you'll decide to become a public defender.
That march will not continue.
In the midst.
Okay. I don't think people understand. Look, this is black and white footage. You understand the life that Joe Biden has led. And I keep saying, I'll say it again and again and again. Nobody is perfect. And we tend to look at things through the lens in which we are right now. And people don't look at things through history. Like there's a history to things. And people may operate in different times in a way that they would not do in the moment. And so for someone to have lived through this and have somehow was able to figure out how to navigate through Jim Crow and the civil rights movement and then become president of the United States, I think that deserves praise, and not more praise than criticism. Everything can be criticized. Remember, he is a public servant. He is in the public eye. He is a former president of the United States. Of course, he deserves criticism. Everyone does. But I think it's time to read the room And some people don't know how to read the room right now. And I think we should be, instead of criticizing the former president, we should be praising him for his and thanking him for what he's done for the world.
You'll decide to become a public defender
That march will not continue.
in the midst of the epic struggle for civil rights. You'll be walking the streets of the east side of Wilmington, much of which has been burned to the ground after your heroes were assassinated.
Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
But 40 years later, you'll stand on the train platform of Wilmington overlooking the east side. Wilmington and the nation will no longer be in flames, but awaiting a new ripple of hope.
It's been a long time coming, but tonight, change has come to America.
You'll be waiting for a young black man inspired by the dream of a king, coming from Philadelphia to pick you up, take you on a 124-mile trip to Washington to be sworn in as President and Vice President of the United States of America.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
Together, you'll prove that change is hard but necessary. Progress is never easy, but always possible.
I hate to keep stopping this, but I like to give context. I don't know if you guys remember, I was there. I was on the train I came from New York to Washington, D.C. Just before the inauguration. I was on the Amtrak train before them. And people couldn't believe it. It was a time in our country for extraordinary hope. I mean, everyone says hope and change, where we thought, hey, maybe America is moving in the right direction. And it did for a while. But not all progress is linear on a straight line. It's ups and downs, right? Sometimes we go back. I believe that we have gone really far back now. And to be quite honest with you, some will say, well, Joe Biden should not have run. He should have gotten out earlier and perhaps we wouldn't be here. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I'll leave that to the historians to decide that. But I remember this time and all of the struggles that Joe Biden and Barack Obama went through at trying to make America a more progressive place. And I don't mean more progressively liberal or whatever. I mean, to progress into the future, to evolve into the future and not to go back to the past as we are going now. And my mom just reminded me, she just texted me, she said, and I had forgotten about it. I know he called me, but Joe Biden called my mom when my sister passed. And I missed the call. And she said he left an inspiring voicemail. And so talk about a good man who never forgot where he came from and did not. I would consider myself and my mom, the little people. Do you know what I mean? Not really, but you understand what I'm trying to say here. And he never forgot that. And so we have to remember things. One has to have a sense of history and a sense of wisdom. And I do believe that the young people now, especially the young folks who are, even those who are carrying the journalism torch, they're young. They don't have a lot of wisdom. They don't have a lot of history behind them. A lot of those people they're getting rid of, the folks who remember these things and who were there. Like I said all the time, I remember when our president was left office on an airplane, on a helicopter, because he was pushed out of office because of Watergate. I remember the Watergate hearings, Vietnam on the news, all of those. You have to have a sense of history in order to be able to understand what's happening in the world.
I believe in change because I believe in you.
And things do get better on our march toward a more perfect union. That's the history of the journey of America. And believe it or not, because you listen to Mom and Dad, you'll help write it. Keep the faith, Joey.
Oh, man, the sound you hear is the boxes of Kleenexes that are pulling out, because I don't know anybody that doesn't.
Yeah, that was a couple years back. So anyways, thank you, CBS, for doing that. And I think that this is the perfect time to remember and the perfect time to have some sense of pride in our country, and that not everything, just because it's an opportunity, that it is one worth taking. And I know that because I've made some mistakes, and I've thought some things were opportunities that were not. And so this is a good time for us to remember that, and a good time to reflect on what is good about the country, and that it actually offers people who have a stutter and who come from poor beginnings, who humble beginnings, who were not born with silver or gold spoons in their mouths or gold toilets under their asses. That you too can become president of the United States by being a decent human being and not disparaging people all the time and not being a selfish asshole. And if I'm talking about Trump, just in case anybody is confused about that.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.